Hello, everybody, and welcome to Limeade 2.0 Day 3. I'm your host, Bratterfield, and we've got a devil of a block for you. Starting off with Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition with R3NZERO, and after that, be Devil May Cry 1. Got a lot of stylish, speedy action. It's going to be so beautiful, you may even cry. I've got R3NZERO here, and with commentary, we got Cosmic again, long time no see, and Loner Hero. How we doing today?
I'm
Doing
doing
good,
great.
man. Doing good.
Doing
Yes,
great.
it's fine.
Excellent.
Straightforward.
Yeah,
What's
I
going to be
like it.
happening
I like
here?
that. I like that.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
this is Devil
All
May
right.
Cry 4. What's the
This
category here at
category
Nero?
is this is Nero Dante Devil Hunter, which is the equivalent to New Game Normal in this game. So Ren has worked on this game a lot, and we are very excited to, Loner and I are here to kind of I guess translate for him, so to speak. Ren's English is not the best, so he felt more comfortable doing the run with us here. So we are
Oh,
very excited to, get, back him up on this and show it off for y'all.
mhm.
So I guess I can just count us down and we can just get into it. So in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Go.
Okay, so the first thing here is we're going to be playing as Nero, who was introduced in this Devil May Cry. He's a new character. He's part of the Order of the Sword. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is fighting against Dante that we saw yesterday from Devil May Cry 3. However, he actually kills the leader of the Order of the Sword. And we have to take him out because or we're going to try and take him out, even though he's a much cooler character than Nero. And so we're just going to be doing some grabs here. And the grabs are like, so the Dante AI can read your inputs, but the grab sort of overrides this. And then you can just do like 3 of them just to take them out. And not getting any damage on this mission is really good because this game actually uses 2 types of currencies, whereas the previous Devil May Cries and the Devil May Cries after only used 1. So we have red orbs, which are used to buy items in this game, and then we have proud souls, which are used to buy abilities. And when you get no damage and such, and like other bonuses such as using no items, you get more proud souls. So the first 2 abilities that Ren is going to be buying are Charge Shot and Speed. Charge Shot's just going to allow Nero to channel demonic energy into his gun from that sort of like twisted looking arm that you see there, as well as be able to sprint or whatever. The first thing that we have coming up here that you're going to see is these Scarecrow Enemies. They're the basic type of enemy for this game. They're sort of the cannon fodder. So we're just going to be doing some grabs into these demonic charge shots here. You actually see Ren opting for a charge shot on the first one and then into a grab because it actually saves a few frames because the death animations for a lot of these Scarecrows are different depending on if you kill them with a charge shot or if you kill them with a grab. So the grab is actually faster on the last enemies in these fights to do. So you got these little time saves here that add up to seconds over a period of time.
And those scarecrows, like, if you have like paid attention or something, like if anyone is familiar with Devil May Cry 1, you might see them similar as a marionette. They kind of reference the same enemy design and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. The more types of enemies that we'll see here from the Scarecrows, they all have very similar color patterns to the marionettes from DMC1. They have more health depending on the colors here as well. You're going to also see Ren use that exceeded mechanic there. So Nero's motorcycle engine sword here, called the Red Queen, has a mechanic called Exceed attached to it, where you can rev it manually. He's got like an actual motorcycle handle on this sword, but there's about a 7 or 8 frame window where if you hit the Exceed button, which on keyboard I don't know what the bind is because Ren is playing on keyboard right now, but on a controller it's by default L2. If you hit that Exceed button as the attack is hitting an enemy, you can instantly rev it. So in a lot of the later fights that you're going to see in this run, a lot of the cycles and a lot of the ways that we move around the levels are determined by whether or not we're going to want to exceed or not. Most of the time we are going to want to exceed.
That's There are some like situation where if you if you don't exceed, it will actually mess up their cycle. And there are some. We'll get into it later to the game, but for the most part, you'd want to keep the damage extremely consistent. So it's crucial for Nero players that they have to make sure that they're able to get every single chain all over.
Yeah, that exceed mechanic actually not only increases the damage that you do, but it also increases your attack speed. So you get just more attacks in basically the same window of time. Um, so here coming into the first boss, Burial, it is very important that Ren actually get another no damage here because, again, we want to get that Proud Soul bonus. This boss is definitely, I want to say, kind of a glass ceiling to learning this run because it is so. He's one of the few bosses that you really have to play the game against. You have so few tools at this point. Even though they are strong tools, you cannot like really cheese this guy at all. Learning this fight is all about reacting to his attacks and making sure that you stay on certain sides of the enemy. You know, also
You also
avoiding
have
like
to. You also have to make sure that your exceed is on point. If you actually don't exceed properly, then you actually automatically. Oh my goodness!
I was gonna say, yeah,
Oh
three
my!
pillars in this, 4 pillars. Are you
Oh
kidding?
my! Okay, this Mister, he's not horsing around.
No,
He's
dude. Like,
he's not horsing around. He's like he's giving us some. Oh my! He's supposed to.
okay,
Okay,
so we
thank
got the
you.
no damage here. Good. All right. I always
All right.
get nervous when people do this fight in a marathon. All right, we're through it. So this is a good time to mention that not only did they include turbo mode in the special edition for this game, which increases the work rate of the game by 20%, but they also cranked up the aggression tables on all the bosses. So this is a max aggression burial that we're fighting against here. So though that boss is not supposed to act like that, but in special edition it does because they maxed out those aggression tables because they were like, all right, you want to be stylish, you want to try and like do all this cool shit against the enemies, all right, we got something for you. We're gonna make them even more aggressive. So Ren's gonna grab charge shot level 3, and he's gonna grab a move called streak as well. Now charge shot level 3 is gonna add a whole new layer to these fights. It's something that I like to call off targets, where off targets basically are where you're going to plant these charge shots on some of the weaker enemies. It's going to totally change a lot of these rooms. It also completely like stuns the enemies when you put it on them, and it plants a bomb that will explode later on. The next enemies that we're going to be talking about here are the Frosts, again from DMC1, but this is a direct reference because it's an enemy kind of pulled straight from that game. Ren's going to be popping a charge shot on the first enemy. You're going to also see him rotate the camera because enemies cannot queue up attacks while they're off camera. So he's going to use this opportunity to make sure that the second Frost in the room has to move onto screen in order to be able to attack him. Really good crowd control here. Also using Nero's snatch mechanic or a pull. So Nero's whole thing is that he can just bring enemies to him in order to be able to do crowd control. Instead of always going to the enemies like Dante has to, Nero can bring them to him as well. This is also really good in the case of stuff like the Frosts or the smaller enemies that might try and get some cheeky attacks on you. You can just pull them and then they'll just be stunned. So this next room here, go ahead.
Interestingly enough about the Frost fight, like I wasn't aware of the elf's camera strat until recently because I was normally under like some runners like you'll see in this game they normally use different strat, so each of them have their own adaptability. Like I was always under impression for the Frost that if you keep them aggressive they'll immediately come at you and then you can kill them fast and etc. But R3NZERO proved me wrong actually, because
I proved that worked in my runs, and then Ren just did
yeah,
it well. Okay.
yeah, like
Also,
the amount of strat, the amount of calculation in this game never ceased to amaze me, because like it's kind of insane how over the year like this game got completely optimized and how so little mistake that cost keep adding up and such. But then R3NZERO recently got the interesting alternative that makes us neither gain too much time or neither lose too much time. Like you'll see it eventually after that once we get into it.
Also, that skip that was a couple of rooms ago utilizes a mechanic called inertia or momentum, where
Momentum
you can
is better.
actually you can actually transfer momentum between your moves. So he was actually able to skip a lot of the platforming in that move, in that room. I'm sorry, in that room, by doing a sword dash like with a jump over the gap there, and then directing himself with his sword swings and then doing charge shots in order to send himself over to the door. There's a lot of skips in this game like that, where we're going to be utilizing a lot of our traversal tools that are meant for combat, but we're going to use them for movement. And that's really what sets this run apart from a lot of the other Devil May Cry games, is that, all the skips in this game are just some of the best you'll see in any action game, just point blank. So again, these off targets here, Ren's gonna be planting these charge shot 3s on the enemies. You just get to consider them dead at that point, and then you get to go to the weaker enemies. So this indirectly about halves the enemies of any room that you need to deal with. The knights here as well that we're gonna get introduced to, they are just kind of these suits of armor possessed by demonic energy. He's just gonna plant bombs on them with charge shot 3. And then they're just going to be taken out. While he's waiting for Charge Shot 3 to come back up, he's going to attack one knight, plant it on the other. Yeah, they were kind of weird this time around. It's fine, though. So a good old, a very nice mission 3 there. Reboot is a fun speedrun, though, for somebody asking in the chat. Pretty much every game in this series is every game in this series is. There's something that's different that makes them fun, but they're all good speed games, definitely. All right, so now we're gonna get into. Well, I was gonna say I don't really want to. We're gonna just call them Beyblades. I won't refer to them by their
I was like, you know what? I don't like the look of this. I'm like, so this might be a good town time. So if Limeades have anything
donations, right? Yeah, they're just gonna interrupt us. Yeah, so it's fine. We don't really need to call for donations. They're called.
No,
they'll just jump in whenever. Do you need to
jump in? This is more relaxed. No, yeah, we're just remind everybody why we're here. We're just here benefiting someone who fell on some hard times recently, a member of the community, a solid Strife. It is just wonderful to see everyone come together for this. We've raised a lot of money with everyone pitching in. It's been very amazing. So thank you all again. We're almost to our new goal, which is outstanding. Almost to 1750. So just thank you so much. And back to you.
All right. So the gyros here are, I guess they're just kind of like a quote unquote puzzle. You have to attack them in order to speed them up, and then just send them every which way. What Ren's doing right now is, when you play this game casually, you think, oh, I have to bring both of the gyros back to, the center of the area. That's not true. You only need to bring one of them back. You'll see the third gyro actually teleport back to the middle of the room, because we need to have 4 gyros in order to get to the boss on this mission. So
you see what's happening there? Like, that's one thing that a lot of us hate the gyro mechanic, because the travel of gyro is literally auto targets the enemy, so you can't have a very fixed position where you want the gyro to go. Like, that's one of the biggest downside about the gyro. But fortunately, like with under optimization with so many characters, we just need to hit the gyro in a very specific way and in a very specific charge, then we can make the cycle go consistently. As you can see how R3NZERO utilize it with one exceed hit ground, and then he goes for the air exceed, which is a max charge and so on. Like, it's thankfully it's properly optimized. So
yeah, once you actually understand the gyros, it becomes way less of a headache, but it's still a headache nonetheless. And it's definitely it's one of those things in the run where I'm like, if somebody asked me if I wanted to remove this, I'd say yes in a heartbeat.
Yeah. This room is an example. This room is a good example for gyro. It's like, you may see R3NZERO doing it in ease, but you'd be surprised sometimes how the gyro travels at some point, sometimes, and all that.
They are useful for hitting the door locks here, though, so that's cool. We're also hitting kind of the first major RNG barrier in the run. This is the boss.
The gatekeeper.
Yeah, the major gatekeeper. This boss is called Bale. He's a giant ice frog, and once we activate his phase, you're going to see these kind of like 2 succubi out here, which Ren's going to just get rid of immediately. The boss, we wanted to give us a couple of different attacks, mostly an Ice Breath. So we'll see if that happens. Oh, we got the icicles. And then he's going to back up. This frog, dude. Okay, there we go. All right, that's how you deal with that. All right, I did not know. All right,
Okay,
so we got him knocked down. Hopefully we can get him. Unfortunate.
Okay.
Unfortunate. Yeah, so when this boss doesn't give you like the proper patterns and everything, it's kind of hard to salvage the situation. So here you see like we would have liked to get the no damage, but unfortunately it gave us a bad pattern. So Ren did what he could to knock it down and try to salvage the situation. Unfortunately, did hit the ground, so he wasn't able to get his second or his third charge shot off there in order to kill it. Nothing doing though. We're just gonna move on. He's going to buy Split and Caliber at this point.
No,
Split is sort of a.
he won't be able to
Oh,
buy Caliber. He needs to get an air
oh, he
height
can,
for that.
oh, he's just
Yeah?
gonna buy Split and Caliber. Yeah, then yeah. So because we don't buy Split on Mission 4 anymore, you just buy Roulette Spin.
No, it's not about mission 4. It's about buying the air height here as well. Like it saves some menu if your damage wrong.
Oh, I usually grab it on Mission 6, and I assume that he does too. If you don't get yeah, Mission 4 no damage.
That makes sense. Unfortunately, R3NZERO what was trying to do here, he was trying to set up a quick kill for mosquitoes, but they did not cooperate. As
Yeah,
usual.
these cloaked enemies are something else. You have to decloak them. The fastest way to do that is you can, when you do Nero's pool, you can just kind of manually rev the Red Queen to do an animation cancel on the recovery of that pool. And if you do this 3 times, then you're able to decloak them entirely. And then you can set up a quick kill here with the charge shot. So let's see if it gets it here. Oh, baby. You'll love to see it.
And they ended with a split.
Just right back down. And then we're going to grab the talisman here, which is going to activate the bounce pads. And then the bounce pads are just kind of like a traversal thing. There's a lot of key items in this game that it's just like, yeah, now you can get through this part of the world now. Like, they don't really serve any purpose other than that. It's like, all right, I guess. Cool. Like the Anima Mercury that we picked up, it does nothing other than to allow us to operate the gyros. That's pretty much it. That's a rip right there. This mission is something fierce, dude, because there's so many enemies in this room that just come at you from all angles, and if they just try to like do multiple things at once, then there's only so much you can do, especially if you don't have air hike. And it's like, but like to get the menuing proper, you have to go and buy Split and Caliber.
Even if you have an air hike, there's the sneaky spikes, you know, like
that's
if you
true.
too much, like...
So now we're gonna head down to like sort of the basement of this big cathedral, because now we've just smashed a picture of, you know, the Pope basically. And that's going to lead us down to this secret laboratory area that the Order of the Sword has. Because the Order of the Sword is, I guess, apparently supposed to be trying to, like, harness demonic power in order to, like, do some shady stuff. I'm totally hazy on the details anymore. It's been about, I don't know, 6 years since I've watched the cutscenes in this game. So I'm hazy on some of the details, but...
DMC lore is hard, you know, like...
Yeah, DMC lore is hard.
Capcom kept retconning the stories, and then they keep changing around the timeline. I'm like, I don't even know anymore, I don't care. Do it too well.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. So these fish here, Ren did actually get a super good pattern on them.
That's actually consistent setup.
Is that
if you actually move in a particular way, like how R3NZERO moved right there, and if you time your charge shot very specifically, you'll always guarantee to get that.
Oh, I mean, I just thought I was getting lucky a lot lately, to be honest, because I was following the way that he was moving, but there's also been some times where I guess I just didn't move properly and
recently,
get it.
Recently I've been paying attention to the run more thoroughly. There's been like Mekarazi and R3NZERO, they've been moving in a certain room in such a particular way so they can force enemy behave at particular pattern or something like that. Like this room that you've seen for the tree fishes are well the prime example, and that's really really cool to see that there's a Devil May Cry game. Like other than Devil May Cry 3, you manipulate the enemy the way that you move, like the
That's
mission
also
one.
DMC1.
Yeah, oh yeah, 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 that's true.
Also, this dice here, you would think that it's you would think that this is what's it called? You would think that this is not, or you would think that this is random. However, it's not. So you can pay attention to the top of the dice. The dice always goes 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 5. And if you do that, then you can if you just pay attention to that and then hit the dice on the number that you want, you can just traverse through this room pretty easily.
Fortunately for the Devil Hunter difficulty, it doesn't matter how many numbers you get at the end because even if you got a higher number, you'll always get that, like at the
Yep.
final few steps.
Also, this boss right here, reminder that this is one of the best games ever made, and the boss is a window. Just the boss is a window.
Y'all
Just keep
complain
that in
about the
mind.
chopper. Y'all complain about the chopper. Yeah, you haven't seen the paint.
At least you can jump cancel the chopper.
There's also like a really cool setup for this boss in particular. It actually rarely works on normal, but it's more common in higher difficulty where if you charge shot the sword and then you take that sword and throw it to the window will take even more damage, and that's unfortunate
That's
that
really
the sword
good.
dies really fast here. But all things considered, that's a no damage fight.
Yeah, that was. This might be a no damage mission 6, maybe? Question mark. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it, because this mission is extremely hard to no damage. We pretty much route around. We pretty much route around not, or we pretty much route around like taking
Playing
damage
well.
on this mission. Yeah, it's like we just kind of play well, and it's like if we got a no damage, that's cool, but it's not really gonna mean anything in the long run because. Oh no. Yeah, it was really unfortunate. So Nero now has his devil trigger, by the way, because he just picked up the sword, the Yamato. And as you know, as you could probably tell, Nero's kind of a weeb. So you get that weeb a katana, and he just gets so much stronger. So his devil trigger in this game, it's a powered up state that he can go into in order to increase the amount of damage that he does on his attacks. He gets sort of like a JoJo stand when he activates it. And this gives him just sort of additional hitboxes on attacks. And we use this mostly to, I saw that. That frame there with the Devil Striker. He was like, I'm not taking damage, dude. You can't make me. All right, so that's a no damage mission 6 there. So that kind of saves the
Wait. We still got one more. The Frosties. The Frosty Flakes. We still got
Oh
one
yeah,
more.
true. Yeah, so ideally you would want to get no damages on missions 1 through 5 in order to rack up enough proud souls to buy a lot of these abilities. However, getting a no damage on mission 6 gives you such an abundance of proud souls that it can really help out like a proud soul route that's gone awry.
And the thing is about the proud soul currency and all of that. Whatever, depending how you play on the first character, it's all the proud soul currency. It's going to affect on how much you could buy with a second character, and that's something really really important to note because if you reach with a second character and you don't have enough to buy majority of their tools, then you're gonna have a hard time. It's
Yeah. So
yeah,
not
it's
only are you like not only are you trying to get orbs or proud souls for your current character, but you're also trying to get them for Dante later on. All right. So this skip right here, I believe this is probably one of the first times this skip is going to be shown in a marathon. We don't really have a name for this skip. So basically what Ren is going to have to do is he's going to have to go back to the mission menu and then turn off the turbo function. Because turbo actually changes the way the physics in this game work by just speeding them up just a little bit. And you can only do this skip at 120 FPS, no turbo. But doing this skip is actually faster than going through this whole level with turbo on, even with the one skip that we do have for, in turbo.
If anyone played the DMC4 on PS3, now that's your prime time experience. You seeing this. This is how it felt like when you played DMC4 on PS3. See, like, look at that speed. Like, don't you miss that speed? You know, like,
so slow.
yeah, it's like you wonder why I have 600 hour. Probably because of that 20% of speed gone. Like, look at that. You know.
Right though, exactly. It's like, man, I spent so much time in load screens and just running through levels this slow. No wonder I got so many hours. All right, so we're gonna do the dunk here into the screen transition.
Yes.
So the way that this works is that Ren is going to stand on a certain part of the of this platform, and Nero can grip over this chasm, but if you stand in a certain spot, he'll land on the very edge of the chasm. And when you land on that very edge, you can actually jump to out of bounds because you can see, you know, that the door to the boss is down below. So instead of going to the very, instead of like going through the rest of the mission, we're just going to go down to this bottom of the door because we just did the grip that allowed us to jump out of bounds. And now we're just at the boss.
And you know what's the best part? You skipped the last gyro, and you skipped one of the possibly the worst room in the entire
Oh yeah,
game.
there is so much RNG removed from this level because of that skip that we don't have to deal with the gyro anymore. We don't have to deal with the combat room in this game, or the second combat room in this game. I mean, sorry, this level. Just it's really, really good now. And then we get into Echidna, the she viper here. She's gonna go pretty much immediately into her flower form here. She should anyway, hopefully. Good.
Yeah, she should. He got it.
So then he's just going to bust out the JoJo references here on Echidna, plant some charge shots on her. Unfortunately, she's going to give him a kind of hard... Yeah, there we go. All right, so then got to get her down to about 3 bars. Not 2, probably with human. Oh, there we go. Okay, and then he's gonna mash that exceed button during this grab in order to get that little bit extra damage there and just take her out. And that is She Viper down. And again, a no damage here. Pick up a little bit extra.
If you're lucky enough, if you detonate, like some boss have like interesting behavior. If they take the charge shot 3 explosion damage at the very specific way, they'll take a double damage or maybe triple damage. It just shows how stupid this move is, really, until they nerf it a lot.
It's so good.
It's
also, I should note again, that mission without turbo with that skip is still a minute faster than with turbo, even including the menuing that we do. That's how long that mission was before.
I can't believe PS3 DMC4 for once is fast.
All right, so mission 8 here. This is one of those missions that only actually has 2 fights in it. At this point, Nero has, decided that he's going to start he's going to be making his way through the forest, heading to I guess the big lair of the Order of the Sword. Yeah. Yeah, the headquarters, that's what it is. I totally forgot what headquarter was for a second. I was like, I'm trying to think of like a base for an evil organization. Do you know what that is? Goodness. I thought I was here to speak the English language, and I can't even remember half the words in it, dude. Like, come on.
I don't know, man. If you see the MC1, yes, I remember.
Ah, yes, exactly. I see now. This puzzle here, Max Act is not actually tighter on timing, by the way, for Turbo. The window stays the same, but you do just have to do the rhythm faster. Same with Royal Guard. Everything is like all the timings on Turbo are maintained. The puzzle here in the forest, you basically just have to look at where the shadows are, and you basically run away from the shadows. So you see how they're kind of like, pointing in the opposite direction that Ren is going. And if you just go through these, this whole area just goes the same way every time. And the way that you're supposed to go is the same every time. So you just kind of come out the end without incident.
Very, very weird puzzle. Like, I don't even understand the purpose of that.
Yeah, I have no idea. So Ren now is going to be refunding some abilities because you can actually refund abilities in this game when you don't need them on certain missions, and he's going to be buying a move called Showdown. It is a move that's only available to Nero while he's in Devil Trigger, and it's basically like a big flurry of attacks that he's going to be able to do. It just has a very long startup. So there's going to be some setups that he's going to do on this boss called Credo, who is like the best boss fight in all of DMC, because it's a boss that moves at your pace. And then he's going to use that burst there from the Devil Trigger in order to reliably set up that showdown. So
Sky Run special.
oh yeah, the Sky Viren special. Shout out to Sky Viren, one of the absolute OGs. Probably not watching this, but there you go.
Like that last hit when RTA trying to DT on, that was really cool. Again,
Oh yeah.
see?
Oh,
that is. Yeah,
that is
Oh!
unfortunate. My goodness. You need to give this dude a swirly, Ren. Quit playing around.
Oh,
All right, there we go.
that
right.
sidestep, smooth criminal. Like,
All right, so
it,
that nerd's down. And
I think he'd love to talk about this fight in particular because of how recently it changed instead of waiting, you know? I think you really liked the adaptation of how this fight went on recently.
yeah, that fight's definitely changed. Oh, you mean this fight coming up here?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Angelo here, the Angelo fights, you're gonna have to fight 3 of them at the same time. And when you have 2 blue Angelos and a gold Angelo in the same room, they make up a formation. And that formation is, I think he's doing something new here. This is actually something that I have not seen in a little bit. What is going on here? Because usually he
I
does
think
something.
Oh yeah, I think he's giving it a chance whether he actually gets the goal or not.
Oh yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He
because
said he was gonna try some new manipulations. Okay, so I thought that. All right, interesting. All right, I misunderstood the message that he sent me earlier about this room. All right, because I thought he was just gonna try it on the second room, but there's actually a cycle that you can do there where the good RNG on this room is that they will like form up sort of like a Power Ranger attack, where they shoot a giant ball at you, and you can reflect it back with your charge shot. Normally in that room, what Ren would do is sort of just like kill all 3 of them in a quick manner. But I guess what he's trying to do here is manipulate them with the camera. And I think maybe what happens here is that the idea is that they're going to be more likely to queue up the ball. There it is. Okay. Interesting. So it's kind of moved around the room, and then there it appeared. And you get a bunch of Devil Trigger back. And that gives us the Key of Cronus, which is a time slow, and it allows us to interact with those things right there, those objects. This skip right here is going to be a utilization of a lot of Nero's height gain tools. We're going to use this to skip one of the fights in the area. So here we go.
if you also pay attention that there is no exceed at all, like the reason why there's no exceed doing all of that, you might think, you know, it's faster and all of that, but no, it makes you lose the height a lot more faster instead.
Yeah, you sink a lot faster if you're doing exceed attacks.
So that's
This
why,
is-
like,
there
this
we go.
skip is kind of unfavorable on super costume.
Yep, exactly.
I'm glad he got it. oh,
There
so
we go. Oh, so beautiful. Oh my goodness, I love that cycle, dude. Just grips both of the frosts together. One of them sails underneath you. You jump, and it's like, okay, they crossed under. All
There's
right,
like
they're
2
both
ways
dead
of
now.
doing that. There's like 2 ways of doing that on top of that. Like, why should also have another method which is knocking them both up at the same time with DT and then bullet spin them. But that's a lot more tighter setup since you don't want to cost all that DT for nothing, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's something new. I thought he's gonna charge shots.
He did on the 4th enemy.
No, like at the start of normally when you split,
Oh,
you
yeah.
charge shot.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that strat a lot. The double splits there, double downs. This enemy
So
here,
this
Agnes, this is the guy that was hiding behind the window. If you play Devil May Cry 5, this is also her dad. Just let that sink in for a little bit.
and well, really not much to speak about this boss. You just go full YOLO, cause like unleash your inner gorilla. You know, if you're playing Guilty Gear Strife or something, you know how Soul bad guy spams that 6B all the time. Like this is literally what you're doing. You just jump in and dish out that sweet
Go ahead.
old air combo A or something. You know, it's like I'm watching a bloody paddles fight on the verge of light on. Bob you or whatever, like he does the jump cancel that gorilla air combo. I'm like, okay,
I too love it when Nero activates Dragon Install from his
yeah.
distant relative Kai Kisuke.
Oh, dude. Interestingly enough, this mission varies a lot of players. Some players like Mecha or myself, we buy max hack, but for some players they don't. It depends. It depends how well you did in the mission overall. The only benefit you could get out of max hack, like most of you are questioning, why are we not getting it? It's unfortunately very minimal, and we get it extremely late in the game, and they don't act much as purpose as, like, you know, charge shot 3 or road spin. These two moves are one
Also,
of the
the
primary.
movement through this room just without the slowdown is just insane sometimes.
Yeah, you only have one shot. Like you need to get stuck in the wall for a while, and then you can just get in. It's very, very impressive.
I think, yeah, I'm tempted to just like use keyboard for just that room, just for the sake of like true north and stuff. I was telling waifu like, yeah, dude, if you get paddles on the back of your controller, just put like the forward button there, the forward and back buttons, so you can get true north and stuff.
It's also like insane that how much benefit with a keyboard that this game could get, because to activate that Quicksilver, let's just say. Oh, I let R3NZERO do the skip. So you remember mission
Yeah.
3 skip? Watch this.
Yeah, you just sail right over this spinning blade here, using those momentum techniques, and then you can just totally skip the fight that's down below there. Probably saves, I want to say like a minute or so, maybe a minute and a half if you're like if you got a really slow fight.
So you guys remember that bad guy, red guy, or whatsoever? He's gonna. I don't know what he's gonna do today, but hopefully he will cooperate.
Yeah. So we're gonna fight Dante again from the first mission here, and there's setups that you can do on Dante here, where we want to make sure that we do a couple of busters to him, or grabs, I'm sorry, and then into some charge shot 3, and then he's gonna try and time it with when Dante blows up from the charge shot, and then boom, like perfect Dante fight right there. So you can pretty much just totally loop that boss that way. He has to cooperate to an extent, as well as the snatch mechanic is a little bit wonky on that boss. So you do kind of have to pray a little bit that the game will actually let you grab him. But other than that, yeah, like just very clean fight.
No damage too.
Yeah, no damage. Yeah, and getting no damage on that mission is a lot more realistic now too. So here's
Also,
another height gain skip.
it's also one of the example of Dante, like the reason why R3NZERO did not use Exceed. If you use Exceed, then the second buster will knock down Dante really, really good instead of bouncing up. Like like you see, there are situations where you should use Exceed or where you should not use Exceed.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see like the subtle differences actually come out, because I was trying to exceed some of those hits when I was first learning the cycle, and Ren was like, no, you can't do that, because otherwise like it's going to mess up the way that you know, like you hit him, or like how he's affected by the buster. Oh, very nice. This enemy here that just kind of hangs out by these grips, by the way, is such a pain.
Yeah, he's the FBI that will chase you all over the world. So, like, you know, I'm like, please get off me.
But I think
I've got
Ren's
it.
actually gonna go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Well, I've got something from Raichu here, donating $10. This is a run to have with your Weetabix in the morning to wake you up. What a great event it's been. Let's kill it on the last day.
Weetabix. Well, we already getting a Weetabix from. We already got one from Burial. You know, we got 5 player of Weetabix, so that's quite a lot. Oh, who knows? This Pope might give us the savior power with another Weetabix. We'll see.
Yeah, so you remember that guy that Dante killed at the start of the game? Well, he's back, and he's like, he just decided, I guess because Dante just dusted him so hard in the opening cutscene, now his whole shtick is that he's just gonna run away the entire time. So Ren's gonna do a bunch of stuff to him, and then just take him to Duff City with just the slobber knocker here
That
from him and the JoJo reference.
the savior is coming. There you go.
The savior is coming.
Very, very nice.
Very clean. All right, so now Nero actually gets swallowed up by the savior, that big statue that was in the background. So now that he's sort of indisposed, we have to go and take control of Dante in order to go back and save Nero. So this is the point where the level design for the game kind of gets folded in half. And you just kind of have to run from that mission 10 boss room all the way back to the start of the game. And I swear it makes sense in a story standpoint, but this is one of those points where, like, you go through half of the game with Nero casually, and you're like, all right, I'm really feeling this. And then you get to this very overwhelming character that is Dante. Because Dante in this game, and, you know, a lot of the Devil May Cry games, you know, after 3, so like 3 and onward, he's basically a walking Swiss Army knife. And so you can change his fighting style at will. You can change his weapons at will. He has a devil trigger as well, just from jump. So there's a lot going on with this character. And to somebody that, you know, a lot of people started with Devil May Cry 4 because it was the first multi-platform game in the series. So to experience this character was, you know, what the heck happened there?
Huh?
He just froze in place. What? What? I've never seen that before.
Okay, from the moral words of cheese, just 4SC being 4SC.
Yep, 4SE. Good stuff.
Yeah,
stuff,
and
good
yeah,
stuff.
the first multi-platform Devil May Cry was actually Devil May Cry 3 with the PC port.
All right, so we're gonna have to take out these enemies normally, just because the Holy Water, I guess, decided to keep Dante in place or something, which is really unfortunate. So you're gonna kind of see the neat stuff here with Prop Shredder from Dante. I'm really glad that Ren has a backup here, though, because I would have just been like, so flabbergasted. I'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna. It's time to go back to bed, dude.
Yeah, I'd be like, what am I even gonna do? I don't have my Goga mission, all of that. Like, I know Rebellion is good, but against those guys, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I have no idea. It's like, what the heck?
Maybe just get them till death. Maybe.
Maybe.
Sheesh.
All right, we're gonna skip over that fight there. Moving on. No way that just happened, dude. But
Okay, that did not. The frozen thing did not just happen. Just don't remember time.
Just
Let's forget
moving
that.
on, you know.
Yeah, moving on.
All right, so the orb crystals there, you're actually gonna see Dante picking up all of those. It's pretty much like his job to do all that, because Nero can't really get a lot of orbs out of those orb crystals. I gotta say, the hit effects that in this skin that Red, like this custom skin that Red's using, are awesome looking. With the purple and the blue, so cool.
I mean, that's the secret weapons.
Secret, yeah, quote unquote secret. Quote unquote secret. This room right here, there is like a stylish way to get through it, but it's kind of hard with Royal Guard. Royal Guard, unfortunately, is not really like too useful in this run. It's a style based around blocking and parrying that you saw from DMC3 last night, if you tuned into that run from Igna. And now we're going to go ahead into the Knights room here. Dante does not have quite the luxuries that Nero does fighting these enemies, so you can really minimize a lot of the damage that, or a lot of the RNG that Nero, or with Nero, but Dante does not have the sort of, I guess you want to call it, like, you know, like I said, luxuries or privileges. So he really does just sort of have to deal with the RNG here. I do like this setup here, though. We got the explosion, or the, you know, the kamikaze sort of setup on the Angelo. So 2 of them go out, and you can just kind of set up to do this big combo here on the last enemy.
And thing is for Dante is that he's one of the hardest. Like literally, his part are the hardest part of the run because he, like Cosmic said, you have so many tools, and there are certain tools that they are really hard to execute, and some of them are locked behind Trickster 3, and getting Trickster 3 is like you have to know damage entire thing from the Neo missions, and the list goes on, you know. Because there's been recently we've been trying to consult from style players and all that, like what does Dante have in terms of damage, you know?
Yeah, and
And
it's
then
like the truth of the matter is that he doesn't really have a ton in terms of, like, you know, huge burst damage outside of a couple of abilities, and one of them is locked behind uh, a weapon that we're gonna get on this mission.
not to mention, like the reason why I said Trickster 3 is because you know, there's a technique called shotgun rave where you do a shotgun and a rave at the same time, but it's extremely difficult for
Precise.
any that move. Yeah, it's precise, but it's also difficult against the enemies that moves a lot, and then it's really hard. You're working on your hand. It's like, damn it, I'm just trying to do something, you know? It's like, guys, stop moving.
And see, Photon, people say that like all the enemies were designed around Nero, but like Dante was, I think, one of the first, like, was like the first character that they had in the engine. And Dante has a way to deal with a lot of these enemies, and like there's some things sort of like he has specific tools for very specific like instances. It's just that most of the time we don't really have access to them because we don't have the Proud Souls to buy them. Like the Angelo enemies, if we had the Pandora Gunslinger level 4 ability called Omen, you'd be able to throw down the suitcase and just like shatter all of their shields instantly, and then just clear the room. But we don't get things like that in this. So while with Nero, you know, he has a lot of stuff that just is very multi-purpose. The fact that Dante's tools are sort of so split up, you know, across a lot of stuff, it makes him very interesting and very deep. But for the purposes of the run, where you're not going to have a lot of those, you know, tools accessible, you do kind of have to fight an uphill battle in some cases, especially since you're going through these sort of like warped versions of Nero's levels.
And it's
Good time
and
to
it's
say, though. Go ahead.
yeah. And it's
I
kind
was
of makes you think in a way that Dante was originally supposed to have its own quote-unquote level design and all that instead of all the backtracking.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Hideaki Itsuno said that the budget that they were given to do this game was exactly the same budget that they were given to do Devil May Cry 3. And as you can probably guess, working with a new engine like MT Frameworks, on a brand new console or a brand new generation of consoles, it doesn't allow you the same, you know, development cycle that, just developing for one console that you already know how to work on. Uh, so that small amount of budget, they just said, we just chose to focus on the combat. So, they were going to design, a whole other half of the game, but they just ran out of money, and they just decided that they were just going to focus on the actual, the level. They were just going to focus on the combat. So we get to fight Echidna again, for example. However, with Dante, it's a lot simpler. You just kind of hit the triangle button or the melee button until she's at about 3 bars of health. We're going to use a Devil Star here to refill the Devil Trigger.
Be a good masher as well.
Yeah, right. And then Holy Water.
You said something about this is a good time to say something.
Oh, I was just going to mention the budget for the game, yeah. And that Holy Water there, I think we briefly touched on it. It just does like a big AoE for like just a bunch of damage. And the
Yeah.
way that they actually balanced it in this game and Devil May Cry 3 as opposed to like DMC 1, for example, is that the more of them you buy, the more expensive they are. Loner, do you want to talk about this mission, by the way? I know how much you love this mission.
I actually pass out and then remember mission 15. Because it's not anyone's fault. Like whose fault is that? Like what is that ground object right there? I'm like, I don't know why they're even called faults. But yeah, I just pass out when the mission is over. I just wait. Oh, okay.
All right, so basically the the enemy there on the ground that Loner's talking about is called a fault. That's why I said, whose fault is it? It's nobody's fault, because none of us like the enemy. Because if you get swallowed by one of the faults there, it will send you into it will send you not only into another fight, but it will also make you redo the fight that you were doing previously. So if you get swallowed by like one of those things, depending on how far you are into a fight and how long the fight takes you to do, yeah, like this fight, for example, if you got really deep into this fight and then get swallowed by a fault, you'd probably easily lose like 2 minutes just by getting swallowed once.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
also, you see Ren doing that move there called straight. It's just that dash forward with the punch there. He's charging it up to a specific timing where you'll hear like a, you know, like again, like a motorcycle. This game loves the motorcycle stuff, or like a gear shift up. And if he does it at that certain point, it will do extra damage. And then he's also activating Devil Trigger at the same time, because there's a mechanic in this game. It's sort of an exploit, I should say. It's not really mechanical.
It's exploit, really.
Yeah, so basically there's points where I was gonna say, dude, you might want to refresh, by the way. I saw that like a little while ago. There's what was I gonna say? Right, so there's a point where Dante's models between his human form and his Devil Trigger form will overlap. And on those frames where they overlap, you are in, like, we try to be in the active frames of a move, like a really powerful, strong burst move. And that will create instances of double damage. So, you know, that straight punch there does like a set amount of damage in both human and DT. But if you overlap them, you can just like take out 75% of these weaker enemies' health bars. So it's really, really good. And performing this consistently across the run is one of those things that, you know, Loner mentioned, where Dante's techniques are very hard to perform consistently, and you know, being able to do all that just makes his parts of the run much harder than Nero's.
Okay, so this mission is over. This is where I think I still pass out from this mission as well, because yeah, maybe I wake up at mission 16. I think this mission 15 is kind of problematic, so I don't know when I'll wake up, because Dante's mission is just extremely questionable since 14. Like this mission, you'll see an enemy, we just greet them, we just splash of water in his face, and then have a good day. So,
yeah, this Blitz enemy, there's a lot going on with them. There's a lot of cool techniques to fight them. Fortunately, we don't have to use any of them because they're a pain.
we don't want any of that. Like, you see that teleport? Like, do you really want to deal with that? Absolutely not. So goodbye, sir.
Definitely not. See ya. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Don't come back. Okay.
All right, so this next room, again, this is probably one of the hardest rooms in the game with the Angelos, because not only do you have 3 Angelos that spawn at first, there's also another 2 that spawn right afterwards. So you kind of just got to send it, you know, when you walk into this room. So I know Ren really likes to just do a real impact right off the bat there, just in case the gold Angelo or one of the other Angelos comes right at him, because he really wants to just take care of that gold Angelo as quickly as possible. For whatever reason, I feel like the Blue Knights personally, like, oh no, that's unfortunate.
He really thought he was on Gilgamesh.
That's a feel right there. You like thinking that you're on Gilgamesh, and it's like, I didn't want that move. What are you talking about, dude? Oh, this guy's so mobile. I hate this. I hate it.
Oh, wow.
Ah. Oh no.
Okay.
We out of here.
Dodge this.
Dodge this, right? Yeah, just shotgun to the face.
Okay, and after the speaking of hardest room, the upcoming room is also the trickiest room in the game, and you have to manage your DT so well. Like you need to make sure that you have DT all the time as well because of the scarecrows. And
Yeah,
as
so
Cosmic mentioned about distortion mechanic, if you full house them, the blue one time, like see, one shot,
yeah,
and that's
one
another
shot.
one.
I need to get better at that. That's so good. I
Yeah,
actually got the I actually got like the full quick kill on the savior yesterday once, and I was like, I understand it now, and then I just never could do it again. Some stuff's so hard, dude. So hard.
yeah, it's such a fast-paced combat, and it makes you wonder. Like, I understand, but can I do it again?
Exactly right. Yeah, so that move right there, the uppercut, real impact. It has 3 separate hits. So we try to do devil trigger activations during the second hit usually. And I know Mecha also likes to do the third hit. I think that you and I both do that as well, Loner. I don't know if Ren does that, but yeah, that's how you get like that max damage there.
Fortunately for us, they are free. All you need to do is
Uppercut.
not just uppercut. Like, you see that prop shredder? It's always guaranteed for them to get launched.
Yep, that too.
Ah, here comes the muscle memory.
Oh,
Oh yeah, oh that tiny thing you noticed what R3NZERO does after real impact. He tries to jump cancel out of it so he could do another real impact immediately. You could
he doesn't
actually.
have. I don't think he has real impact, or he doesn't have jump cancel anymore because we don't buy it
Oh right,
anymore.
right.
Yeah. So this room got a little bit tighter in timing because we don't buy jump cancel anymore or enemy step. So we can't like cover the end canceling of that move anymore. There's also a small skip here where you don't have to go down to the room below anymore.
Mhm.
I just recently learned that version too. It's easier. I don't know why I was doing the harder version so long.
Yeah, I was doing a harder version as well. I was literally air hiking, and
Yeah, then the triple dash, right? Yeah.
yeah, that was a lot, like that time was a lot. Right? So you remember that guy? Yeah. Hello. Goodbye.
Yep. Hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
So you're definitely gonna see the damage of real impact coming out here.
If
Um,
Rock
if
cooperates.
frog goes well, because this frog is gonna get deleted uh, with real impact if it gives us a good cycle. I'm sure Ren has something for it if it doesn't go well, regardless. But here we go.
3, 4, 3.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I like to see right there. Oh,
Bonk.
nice. Oh, look at that health bar just melt, baby. Let's go.
So, like, that's also an example how Charge Shot 3 will act if you detonate it real good.
Yup.
And
Yup.
what you're about to witness is something we have never
This
expected
is
to ever see in a game.
yeah, we've been talking about like the height gain moves and everything to like sort of skip different instances here. I'm just gonna let Ren demonstrate this. I'm not gonna say anything
Yeah,
because
this.
we'll explain it afterwards.
Yeah.
This skip is something special.
Mhm.
Bam. Okay, and we just saved like 2 minutes off of this level. So there's no collision on the bottom of that or on that ceiling like at all. So you can just sort of phase through it with enough height gain techniques. There's a lot going on there. It would take a little bit to explain. So I'm just not gonna bother because there's just a lot. We'd already be like 3 rooms ahead at that point.
We
But
also
that
gotta be
skip was
entertaining.
yeah, that skip was when that skip was found, it was revolutionary for the game because it cut out so much of this mission.
Uh,
And this
uh,
mission was so like so hard to just get through and just so I mean, I want to say it's toxic because there's gas there, but I think that's
Yeah.
too obvious of a pun.
Shout outs for the OGs who endured this for so long. Shout
Yeah,
outs.
right though.
Yeah, it's
And
just shout outs.
shout outs to one sanitarium who actually found that skip too. And that skip is called a Zenbu skip or gas skip. So now that we've, encountered the dogs there and dogs are free, so we're just going to use a holy water on them.
Same goes
Um,
for the upcoming boss.
Yep. So we're going to fight Burial again because now we fought, the other. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so that frog that we just fought, I know I said the first one was called Bale, but that second one is red and he's called Dagon or Dagon. We swear it's a different enemy. Totally. Just trust us on this one. Capcom said so. So we're gonna fight Burial again now. However, compared to when Nero fought him the first time, you remember how I said that there was like no cheese for that boss? Yeah, Dante's got the sauce for this boss. Okay, that rhymed and I was dropping bars that I didn't even realize. Excellent. So now we're gonna do the real impact. Boom, you're just gonna see him just get totally stun locked and dead. 3 hits. That's all it took. 3 real impacts, and he's just gone.
Distortion, everyone.
And a no damage. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's really simple to no damage this mission. All it takes on real impact.
Yep. All it takes is some good real impacts. All right. So now we've picked up pretty much all the weapons that Dante is going to have at this point. And there's like one more, which is technically a style, but technically. But anyway. So
See, technically,
now
I'm biased against Lucifer, so I'm not really a big fan of that weapon. You can have all the roses if you want, and you can set them free, but I'm not gonna set those roses free. Feel free to talk about this one. You know?
Yeah, right, exactly. So this mission is actually pretty difficult. It uses some pretty specific room clears in terms of like the way the enemies are laid out and everything, and there's also a little bit of adaptation that happens in one of the rooms, but this is like the last actual combat stage for Dante, and I think it's actually the last stage in the game that is like properly like a combat stage. A lot of it is just like boss stages after that.
Yeah.
The next room here too is like also the hardest I think room in the game. It's one of the more rewarding to do like really well, but just because of the way the camera angle works and the Mephistos that are like flying through walls and stuff, there's a lot that they can just kind of phase in and out of here, and it just really makes your life not great while that's happening. And there's also like an out of bounds point right there, so it fell actually off. So when it falls off like that, it's going to actually recloak and then come right back up. So you can decloak them and then they'll come right back up for more. And it's like, dude, I just got done dealing with you. I gotta decloak you again, and that's just time loss, So Ren's gonna use the shotgun here, just try and take him out as quickly as possible.
And then I never understand why they included this enemy at this room. It makes you wonder. It's not even an open area. It's just a hallway. I'm like, why?
Why, dude?
And this is the last time where you get a big cache.
Yeah. That's the last orb crystal there. Oh, this is an interesting room clear here. Okay, I kind of like this more. I usually just go for the blue scarecrows and stuff, but this also works. Very cool.
That probably has to do with the how long they spawn.
Yeah, probably. That makes sense. So Ren's gonna kill 4 of the enemies here to spawn in all of the waves.
Oh, he got sniped.
And then he's gonna use the holy water there. The dogs are gonna appear, and he's gonna just be revving up the gauntlets there to just take out one of them. Actually, I guess you just don't do this there anymore.
Yeah, because oh, he mistimed it. Because if you actually release it at the correct time, you can take them out 3 at once.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And then here's the actual, like just last combat room before we get into like a lot of the boss fights coming up.
It's
So Ren is
so
going to,
it's the
pretty quick
hardest
though.
boss in the run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely the hardest boss in the run. Ooh, I don't think he meant to do that. Maybe.
I think
I'll
because
just
of the
do it
white
again.
orb.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
Oh,
I usually
ye-
just use it to refill afterwards. Oh, interesting. All right, so here we go. Boom, gonna take this enemy out.
Yeah,
Ooh,
holy water in this room is a
yep, he
huge game
definitely didn't mean to
changer.
do that. Yeah, you see how he went for it there? He definitely didn't mean to like open that up. All right, so this boss right here, Agnes again, you want to make sure that you try and like do some distorted straights to him. Unfortunately, the way his hitbox works, and like if you miss time a lot of this, if you miss time like any of these things, the boss gets a lot harder, and you have to like really play the game against him. It's crazy. There's some very fast cycles for this boss, but they are very hard to hit. It's only fitting, really, that it's the last like proper boss that Dante has to do in the run. Just the how quick
And
it
the
is.
fact that it's so late in the game, it also makes sense why he's one of the most difficult. And majority of the runners that we had, they set a lot of time practicing this boss because they, at some point, you just can't afford to mess it up, you know?
Yep.
That and the savior fight. Oh, whoops! Sorry for spoiling.
All right. So speaking of the savior fight, the loner just so unceremoniously spoiled. Gosh. This is the big savior here that we saw back on mission 11. That was in sort of the background of that fight against Sanctus that Nero fought. So this boss is kind of more of a puzzle. So we're gonna knock it down, and then we're gonna be using the Pandora weapon, which is like a weapon that can change into 666 different forms, but only has 4 or 5 in this game for some reason. And we're just gonna go ahead and take out these crystals on its body. This is going to force it to... Oh, this is unfortunate. He does this also a little bit differently than I do. So he's just going to go ahead and take out the crystals on the body here. And then he's going to wrap up that back crystal there. And then breaking that back crystal too will force the boss into this phase here. So, or destroying all those crystals is optimal. And then now all we have to do is take out one crystal on its left arm, as well as the one on its head. And so this boss effectively has sort of like 3 phases, basically. So we have the phase here where it's got, like all those crystals and everything. Then we transition to here where it only has the one crystal on its chest. And then once we transition it over to where it actually has a health bar, we're going to be
This
looking to
phase, this running
this phase
phase, you
here.
could actually skip that, but it's only shown in the task level. Like, basically what's gonna happen, you stand in the spot, and then you jump and roll guard that, and then you ruinstorm twice, then you immediately jump into this phase. So
Apache, I usually recommend a lot of people run DMC1. It's a pretty good run to get into. Lots of resources and stuff.
yeah, there's a resource that's made by some cool guy called the Cosmic, you know.
Fair enough.
Fortunate.
DMC2 is also like a really good speed run, even though the game is like not great. It is
I'm
really
the
fun to run.
proof.
Yeah, Loner Hero grinded the heck out of that game.
I'm really sad that R3NZERO missed that. Oh.
Yeah, that's a tough fight to get right.
Yeah.
He's trying to knock him down too.
With the
Oh, this is
Pandora, yeah.
unfortunate. Yep. So
That
what Ren's
happens.
trying to do right now is just use the Pandora cannon here to knock him down. And for whatever reason, the boss is just being like totally uncooperative here. This is one of those things where like the boss just goes like it can just go totally awry. It's got like a very fixed cycle that it works on, but if you just like one execution error can just totally body it. Man, Real Impact hit that hard. It just skipped to the end screen. Jeez. All right, so that's the end of the Dante sections there.
Unfortunate, but overall still good.
Yep. So now we're going to be finishing out the game with Nero here. He's going to be picking up a move called Maximum Bet, and then he's going to be re-picking up Showdown as well as Max Act that Loner was talking about. And Max Act allows you to get all 3 stocks of Nero's Rev instantly. So that's going to be really good now that we have Caliber, and like we don't have to sacrifice a lot of other abilities for it. So these first enemies here, this is a boss rush, by the way. These enemies are meant to represent Credo, who was killed in the story. Unfortunately, we don't get to fight Credo again. We do have to fight do have to fight the other bosses for the 3rd time. But what's kind of cool about the boss fights in this run, even though you're fighting like the same 4 bosses the entire time, the way you approach them is pretty much different the entire time.
Nero
like each time.
destroys them this time.
Yeah, Nero just absolutely crushes them.
Now he has like the Devil Trigger and he has all the tools. Oof. Like, check this out. To maximum that. Shot.
This is Nero's actual revenge for mission 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the DMC1 run is very cool. Would definitely recommend that everybody pick it up.
The timing between the Devil Star Rifle and that shot, and then into a Buster. Oh, that was so good.
It's sick. That cycle is so good.
Yeah. Like when after you release the charge shot and then into a menu, all of that, that's very impressive, especially when you're such in standby.
Dude, he did my strat. He did my strat. Excellent. That strat that I totally knew I invented and totally didn't realize that it was good until Ren pointed it out. That's definitely the thing that I meant to do. Excellent.
Excellent. God,
it was totally not me just mashing Devil Trigger when that frog swallowed me. Definitely not that.
That Maximum Bet is such a huge game changer for Nero. Like, it's such a powerful tool in DMC4 that it clears anything really on sight.
Yeah, right.
Except, like, obviously, bosses like this one is an exception. You know?
Yeah, right, exactly. I think you might. Oh, there we go. Nope, no more showdown for this fight either. Crazy.
Interesting.
GBH.
Probably not enough DT for that.
Yep, but she just dies anyway.
Good day. And for Agnes, like I said again, unleash her inner gorilla and then mash this good old air combo.
True.
Nothing changes about Agnes. It's so weird.
I was gonna say maybe Agnes is the exception here, right? Because like Nero, by the time that he fights, Agnes has a lot of these tools. So he's like really the only one that is just kind of like different. I mean, you have Max Act, but like unless you're doing like Max Act calibers the entire time, then it's not gonna change a whole lot.
Yeah, it's like I just gonna use my good old air combo. It's effective. It's too effective. What can I do, you know? Yeah, give him with a cannon. Like, you see, that's the maximum gorilla act right there.
Hey. Boom. I like how he just used the dog cannon to kill him too. So good. I don't know. Okay, I was gonna say I don't know if the white orbs will just despawn or you need to pick them up for that thing to spawn. All right, so we're gonna head into the final mission here too. We are actually still inside the Savior right now, and we're gonna be fighting Sanctus, who has acquired the power of the sword of Dante's father, Sparta. The sword is also called that. It'd be like if I had a gun named Cosmic. So Ren's gonna be picking up a holy water and one devil star, and then he's gonna be looking to do some certain cycles to Sanctus in order to manipulate his health bar so that we can kill him in 2 cycles, or 2 phases, I should say. So he's gonna be doing showdown here to do a lot of damage 2 Sanctus, and then going to be using the Demonic Arm. Demonic Grab, and just hiya. Bada bing, bada boom.
And if you have a full bar, 1 caliber will be.
Yep. Ooh, I like that. And then holy water, and so time is going to be coming up once we grab the savior 3 times, because after this boss fight, you have to go ahead and grab the savior 3 times in order to end the game. So a little style finish there, very nice. The showdown with 1 and 2 and time.
Excellent run. That was smoking.
That was a sick run. What
Yeah,
was the
that
time on
was
that
good.
one?
113.56.
Very nice.
That's
Oh.
impressive.
Yes, thank you. I missed some things, but I think it's fine.
This is better than my PBs, dude. You don't got anything to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Very nice
Yeah,
commentary.
like-
It's very cool.
It
Great
was
job.
great. It was great. Good job. Like, regardless of the savior mistake, everything else was really good.
So,
Okay.
Ren, you have anything you want to say, man?
It's cool, more fun. I think it's time to stop my stream. Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll handle that right after this. Thank you, R3NZERO, for that amazing display of DMC4 Special Edition. Thank you for the lovely commentary, Cosmic Loner Hero.
You're
This
welcome.
was a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, this was nice.
Absolutely. You're not getting
Right.
rid of me yet, though, Brad.
That's right. After the break, EMC1 Cosmic's back with commentary. We got Dan the Man Spence 94 coming up. Just stay tuned. We'll go into intermission and we'll come back with some all collectibles.
And this game's sick. You should play it. You should run it. It's kind of hard, but we will all help you out. Ren is more than willing to help anybody out. He has a wealth of knowledge on this game, as well as Mecharazium. Loner Hero and I will also help you out. Yeah, there's a lot of help to go around. We're working on resources for this game. It's changed a lot in a short period of time, so I'm kind of glad that we didn't like sit down and do a tutorial, because now a lot of it would be just irrelevant.
A lot of DMC going through revolutionary strat
Yeah,
right now, and it's really
absolutely.
insane year. Like, if all you gotta do is just to hit the Discord link, we're gonna be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to say.
Well, go ahead.
I want
Go
to
ahead.
say, in my mission 20, it's gold.
Your mission 20 was in gold? Nice, dude. Good stuff.
Oh, good, yeah.
Getting better and better. Nicely done.
Thanks for having me.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, folks. Yeah, we'll see you after the break. We'll be back with Devil May Cry 1. Stay tuned.